Welcome to my short series, Why I Am Not a Democrat. Why I can't vote for certain politicians. Even Republicans are thrown in that too. They're liars, they get away with crime, and it's okay. We know what their crimes are, we know what the lies are. Yet the Democrats and even Republicans make excuses for these people. And they're about to impeach our president for nothing, for no evidence absolutely whatsoever. They're not presuming his innocence like they presume the innocence of the 30 Russians that Mueller indicted. He said, "I must presume their innocence," quote, "because they can never be brought to trial. I must presume their innocence." But somehow, he got up there and he put the assumption out that there must be something. You must impeach him because I can't indict a sitting president. And that's that's not the reason. Because if you remember Bill Clinton and the laundry list of things that Ken Starr found on him, he couldn't indict him, but he found the crimes and he listed them. So that's bullshit. I hope you enjoy this series. You're going to listen to a lot of bullshit. You see, I have a memory, and I can't betray my memory, and I can't betray my integrity, and I can't back liars and people who just really want money and power. I have a memory, and I will not forget. Hillary was the racist in 2008. Now, Hillary's not the racist. And the first African-American president backed her and looked at an audience of African-Americans and said, "It will be I will take it as a personal insult if you don't vote for her." On with this series. Thank you for joining me. Well, Hillary, you see, what they did was Hillary was winning, and she was winning amongst the African Americans. They could identify with Hillary for some reason because Baba Bill, and I don't know why this is, because he did enact 3 strikes and you're out, which mass incarcerated more black men, affected black men more than anyone else, any other community. And she called black men super predators that should be brought to heel. Not H-E-A-L, like Jesus laying hands and healing someone, but heal as in a master and that kind of heal. So I don't know why he's considered the first black president. He played a saxophone, he's with it, he's feels his body. I don't know. I'm sure he feels his body. I don't know. But that's another story. But Hillary, that was her time. In 2008 was her time. That's when they should have made her the first female president. She looked good then. She was younger and sprier, even though she did fall. Was it 2012? She did fall when she was Secretary of State and got that blood clot and was wearing those glasses, of seizure glasses, when they were questioning her on Benghazi. And that's another thing we should not forget, that she took down Benghazi and laughed and cackled. We saw, he died. And all the countries that have been taken down, that we've gone to war with, interestingly enough, they all decided to, or were in the process of starting their own currency. But let me show you how good Hillary looked. And I don't want to show you this because I have an actual photograph that my cousin gave me, who is, believe it or not just a Hillary supporter. It's hard to believe this. A journalist. And she moved to she moved to Bel Air first, but that was too expensive. But she's living in Beverly Hills now, and her son is an actor. As you know, brought him to acting school and some acting studio on the top of Bel Air, the hill there, I don't know. But anyway, this is her, and I'm going to blur her out a little bit because I'm scared of her. This is her and Hillary Clinton. This is an actual photograph. And the date is even at the bottom of that, and that's 2007, August 24th, 2007. I think that's Nantucket or Martha's Vineyard. Remember, this past election, there was a hurricane, and Trump was handing out food to the hurricane victims, him and Pence. And she was at Martha's Vineyard and Obama on a fundraiser to get money for her campaign. And even Obama didn't even go to help or anything. He wanted to make sure that Hillary got enough money so she would win. But see, that's how good she looked then. Hillary looked really good then. And she was praised. Here's another one. How about this? This is her, and I'm going to blur her out. And Bubba Bill. Like, I tell you, see, that's an actual Kodak. I tell you, well, I've told you before that I've got relatives that have friends on, or know politicians and presidents on both sides of the aisle. I mean it. And that's just one of them that knows, that's just one of, there's several, especially on the Democrat side, Republican side too. But getting back to 2008. So she says this crack, and she knows she's going to lose, but she's still in the race just before the California primaries. Why are you still in the race? Well, we know what happened to 68, what happened to Robert F. Kennedy. We know what happened to Robert, and that's an incredibly bad crack. And Keith Olbermann got on camera and ranted and raved and told her off. All the Democrats got on camera and told her off, because that was an awful thing to say. And you can see why Obama painted her and Bubba as the racist. That was awful. But for some reason, and then Bubba Bill said something about he would be bringing, if it was any other time, but now he would be bringing us our coffee. So that was racist. And we know they're racist because Clinton's mentor is F. William Fulbright, a known segregationalist, and Orville Faubus, who was the governor of Arkansas. And he was a good friend of Al Gore's father, and Al Gore. He came over to dinners. And, Al Gore, the whole green thing, and environmental and climate, whatever it's called now, he actually stood in the doorway. And the black students were supposed to mix with the white students. He stood in the doorway and wouldn't let the black students come in. And he is the mentor of Bill Clinton and Al Gore. And we know Robert C. Byrd, Grand Exalted, I'll say this together, I've said this a million times, Grand Exalted Cyclops of the West Virginia KKK. He was also, you might not know this, the head in 1988. The Democrats made him the head of the Democrat Party, senator, so he was majority leader, of the Democrat Party in 1988 because the Republicans were in office. So he was basically the head, a Grand Exalted Cyclops of the West Virginia KKK. And that was Hillary's mentor, and she got on camera and said that he was her mentor. And they all eulogized Clinton, Bill Clinton, Obama. They eulogized him when he died. And Obama put his statue up in the Capitol Rotunda. That's what the first black president did for a member for the Grand Exalted Cyclops of the West Virginia KKK. And nobody's taking their statues and monuments all over West Virginia to this man. And nobody's tearing them down. Tell me why. I know it's kind of this is why I can't be a Democrat. So 8 years later, it's Hillary's turn. They fix the election against Bernie. All the media, which I've told you is owned, and Bill Clinton did that. He changed the law. The law used to be that if you were If you owned a TV station or a newspaper or a magazine, you couldn't own a monopoly of news sources because you had to have different political views. One party could not monopolize all the media. One person or a group of people cannot, a small group of people cannot monopolize all the media. So we had about 700, over between 600 and 700 different people owning all sorts of news. Now we only have 6 because Clinton changed the law when he was in office. Changed that, and it ended up favoring Hillary. It ended up favoring Obama. That's why the media is so incredibly biased. So if you read the New York Times, they're the ones who put the Holocaust on the back page so nobody knew that the Holocaust was happening. If you read any of these news sources, as reliable as you think they are, they're biased because that law was changed. And so everyone who owns all the news, only 6 of them, only 6 corporations own all the news, and it's biased in their direction. So whatever a big corporation that can own many news sources, because they've got the money, the candidate that they put in office, because they're the ones who put the lies out, the candidate they put in office ends up passing and our senators and Congress people end up passing legislation that favors them. This is extremely important to know. They're not working for us because they were put into office by huge corporations. And I've heard Jimmy Dore, who loves Bernie and he's a socialist, he hates this too. He thinks that this is wrong too because there's no investigative reporting. We should have a bunch of different political opinions giving us the news from looking at different angles, and then you can get the truth. And also, here's another thing I remember. This is a nice little thing, okay? This is why I can't be a Democrat.